Good morning. I'm Belinda Johnson, Managing Director of Mindfull. Good morning, Issy. How are you?
Belinda, so delighted to be here to have this conversation about artificial intelligence here in New Zealand with you.
Fantastic. So, Issy, tell us what is your role at IBM?
So I am I look after the portfolio of IBM products and services here in New Zealand, and I take that to market as IBM's Chief Design and Technology Officer.
So, Issy, what is AI and cognitive computing?
You know, the term AI has been used in many different ways over the years, but at IBM, we really think of artificial intelligence less as artificial intelligence, more augmented intelligence. It's really about scaling our own human expertise. And how that's realized in the marketplace is we provide a set of underlying capabilities that we call intelligence blocks that allow you to infuse AI into existing applications or create brand new applications with them.
So, the term AI, has it changed over the last 5 years? And is it a term that's expanding and evolving every day?
Absolutely. So, we've been in the artificial intelligence space for a very long time. In fact, the very first system that we at IBM built that was considered an AI system was back in 1953, where we built a checkers game to challenge a human. And since then, we've been evolving the field of artificial intelligence. And right now, AI is a core part of our business. It's a core part of what we do.
That's wonderful. It's very exciting. So, what do you think the perception of AI is in business today? Do you think business understand what it really is?
You know, I would say if you would have asked me this question maybe 5 or maybe even 2 years ago, I would say that the journey that organizations take in using and harnessing artificial intelligence is quite immature. However, I would say in the last year to 6 months, we're seeing more and more businesses use AI to achieve significant actionable outcomes. And when I say businesses, I'm not talking about organizations in far places like the United States or Europe. I'm talking about businesses right here in New Zealand. The AI Forum did a survey and a study of executives in the New Zealand marketplace, and they found about 62% of executives in businesses here in New Zealand are looking at employing artificial intelligence in their organizations to give them that unfair competitive advantage.
So that's wonderful. A lot of talk around AI, but are business actually adopting it? And what sort of things are they doing in New Zealand to adopt AI?
Yeah, so the question of adopting is really interesting. We're seeing more and more businesses experimenting and prototyping with artificial intelligence. And I'll tell you why. When IBM first took the concept of artificial intelligence as a commercial proposition to market, I'll admit, it was off the back of a very successful Jeopardy challenge. And it was this large monolithic system that achieved massive outcomes. But with consultation with our clients, what we've done is we've taken Watson, the very first genesis of it, and broken it down into what we call these intelligence blocks. So you're able to take these intelligence blocks and string them together to achieve an outcome. And these intelligence blocks span quite a wide spectrum of capability. So you can do things like conversation, vision detection. You can do things like finding empathy, tone, and tenor. And these intelligence blocks are so specific. You have one for speech to text, another for text to speech. And what that has done specifically for here in New Zealand is that we've made it super easy for businesses to take an intelligence block and put it into an existing application and infuse it with artificial intelligence. What that means is we're seeing more and more businesses in New Zealand taking these blocks, experimenting and prototyping, and getting a feel for what outcomes they can achieve with artificial intelligence. So very much in New Zealand, that conversation with us has changed. I'm sure you're seeing the same too with your clients. Instead of reaching out to companies like us and Mindfull, we're seeing companies creating prototypes or creating these minimum viable products, getting a feel for what artificial intelligence can do, and then coming to us to help scale that out or looking to take that into production or put a business case together. And I'm sure your clients are coming to you with exactly the same propositions.
Absolutely. A lot of my businesses ask, yes, AI, we can see the impact on a global scale and what it does to change the world. But can you use AI really to tailor business needs, individual business needs for little businesses across New Zealand?
If you look at the New Zealand marketplace, a majority of our businesses are made up of these small to medium enterprises that service a large number of Kiwis. And if you think about our population in New Zealand, we have about 4.5 to 5 million Kiwis. And so the question really is, how do we then use technology systems like artificial intelligence to help us compete on the global stage? I really see artificial intelligence as a way of enhancing or augmenting our own Kiwi ingenuity. And so we really see the take-up of artificial intelligence happening right across the board, from the smaller, medium businesses all the way up to large enterprises, including banks and governments. And there are a number of other projects. One that comes to mind is for a large telco where we looked at cost savings in the call center. So if you were to consider your experiences with an organization, there are some really terrible customer experiences. But where you get an immense amount of stickiness is when you call up an organization and you have an extremely delightful interaction with them. What we helped this telco do was to create this 360 view of a customer as they called in, to field what we call these short tail questions so that you get higher accuracy and quicker responses to their customers. And so we're seeing about 88% of first response calls being answered and responded to fast and accurately by Watson. And so what that's resulted in is a movement in the needle of a higher NPS score for the telco, but also delighted customers who are spending more with the telco. So we've managed to reduce these high operational costs, but also move the needle on that customer delight.
Fantastic. Wow, it sounds wonderful. Sounds really great. A lot of my customers are saying it sounds fantastic. It almost sounds too good to be true. The new world we're going to live in and the access to artificial intelligence. A lot of my clients are asking me, how do I start, Belinda? Do I need a data scientist? Do I need a business analyst? Do I need a business user? Do I need all these things? How do I actually get started to know if AI will be applicable for me and my business? And also, what would the values be? What would the value be in my business to use AI? What do you recommend? How do they get started?
Yeah, that's a really important question to ask. Where to get started? I think over the last few years, a lot of folks have been doing experimentation, prototyping to figure out if artificial intelligence can help them move the needle on their business. And what a lot of New Zealand businesses are looking at now is, can we frame a business case around this? Is there a real return on investment for using artificial intelligence? So there are a couple of things that we've learned. And these aren't, this isn't a framework. Okay, these are real practical things that we think are important, having worked with businesses right here in New Zealand. The first really is around defining a value for artificial intelligence. The use of artificial intelligence without a purpose and value creation will not lead to a successful project. So I think it's important to define that value, but also to be realistic about the value return of using the AI system. So to have some very real expectations for being able to fail early or succeed even earlier, to being able to pivot and look at what AI can do for you. The second thing we've learned is around establishing a great foundation. That ranges from everything from having a great technology and data foundation. So having a great corpus of information for AI systems to work on. See, an AI system can only be as good as the information and data it has access to and the people that are training it. It's important to look at the people in your organization. You asked the question around, do we need data scientists or statisticians? In some cases, you do, absolutely. In other cases, where you're infusing AI using the Watson intelligence blocks, you may not need sophisticated or expensive data scientists. So laying that foundation of understanding the talent in your organization and the people that are willing to learn this new technology, they may be pivoting from previous roles, etc.
What are your thoughts on, are we ready for AI or is it machine learning? Are we running before we actually started crawling? Do we need to step back? Are we ready to embrace AI?
We should neither run or crawl. We should be flying. I think here in New Zealand, AI is a great platform for us to compete on the global stage. AI is going to be that technology that's going to give Kiwis the platform to be able to compete on the global stage. And to be honest, we really think that AI is going to be a core part of the digital future of New Zealand. And IBM, through partners like Mindfull, we're looking to make AI easy for everyone here in New Zealand.
So you mentioned that the data architecture has to be right before you can embrace AI. What if the data isn't in the right space, that the data isn't perfect? Can they still embark on an AI experiment or project without having perfect data?
You're spot on. So you've been having a lot of these AI conversations, Belinda. So let me clarify this. AI isn't necessarily about big data. AI is about squeezing insights and actionable outcomes from the data that you have. So yes, some companies do spend a bit of time setting up a good, solid information architecture. Some organizations run and fly. So they'll look at a corpus of information that they have easy access to, and they'll use an intelligence block from Watson and try to glean some value out of it. And they'll build on top of that, and then on top of that. And soon we find that an organization has, by momentum itself, created a platform, a data platform for AI that works for them. So it's not necessarily about spending a number of years working on a huge data transformation project, although that is possible, but it's not about spending a number of years working on a huge data transformation project. It is not about big data. It's about squeezing value from the data that you have access to.